Welcome to the Hey Sister podcast, where sisters share real opinions and have honest conversations about life, growth, and everything in between. Hey sisters, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Hey,
sisters.
sisters.
Well, before we get started, let's do our check-in as always. How is everyone feeling?
For me, I feel like life is moving so fast. I'm just behind. Honestly, that's the word, I'm behind because it's just moving so quick and I can't keep up.
Like with life moving so fast, my word is I'm feeling nostalgic because I had seen my old Twitter tweets and photos yesterday, and I went back to whenever I got Twitter 2011 or something, and I was like, dang. It's got, I used to post so many things of college and Bria and our friends. I'm just like, why was I posting all this shit? But I'm just like, wow, what a life I've lived. Still has so much more life to go. But I'm just like you said, everything so quickly. So I'm like, I didn't think about the old good times. So
Yeah.
when you say growing up there, college is the best time of your life, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But I really it really was
No, yeah,
I
it
mean,
was a
other
time.
life was cool too, but it was just so fun.
I think about often how we would get our $200 checks from the RPAC
Yes,
and
the
little
and then
campus
the
jobs, and
refund checks you would get at the top of the
yeah.
year.
And we would think we were up too.
So we
I don't
somehow
know how
made
we
that
were
work.
surviving.
I'm feeling excited. I got my hair done and my nails done, and I like both,
Ew.
which is hard to get both on the same page. But I'm going on my first vacation of the year to Brazil in a couple of days, so I'm just
Fun.
getting prepared for that.
I love that. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
doing
so
Rio?
excited. Yeah, we're doing Rio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Gonna
Michael going?
vlog?
Oh,
No, he's going to
I
London
was
actually.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, still, I was like, I had no clue he was going. I
He's
still have no
going
clue
to
he's going to London.
He moves in silence. It's
No,
gonna be
for
me and my
sure.
best friend.
That'll be fun. I love Brazil. For me, I'm feeling I don't have a good word to put to it, so I'm just gonna say blah. I was sick this past week. I don't know I didn't have the bad flu that's going around, but it was kind of giving allergies, but then a little bit of a cold and all that. So I feel like I'm just kind of getting over it, but I feel like I've just been very over the last
I'm
couple of days.
on the side of TikTok. I don't know how I got here, but I'm on the side of TikTok where it's this how to get over a sickness in 12 hours. And it's where they're biting garlic, biting ginger, biting a lemon with the peel. And they're also steaming their face at the same time. I don't know how I got here. They're eating a red onion raw, literally like an apple.
No, I will say
eating fruits and vegetables. You should do that already. That's
I will say I will say a few years ago, I was dating this guy and he was Caribbean, and it was in the middle of COVID, and his mom had this remedy of every end of summer, beginning of fall, you would get a jar of honey, you would put red onion, ginger, garlic, and you let it sit there for a month. So that way
sounds more logical.
And so that way when it was you have to let it seep all of the nutrients or something like that. And then once the fall comes around, you're supposed to start taking a spoonful every day, and you never get sick is the thing. And I did it during COVID, and I was like, wow, I never got sick. But then I never did it again, and I'm like, dang, I need to start doing that because I'm always sick now. I need to go ahead and steal this back.
I will say I feel ginger helps preventing being sick as much.
I got some from Trader Joe's. It's I was trying to be lazy, and I got the pre-divided ginger. I was like, what is this? It's all shredded. I'm like, I have no idea why I'm
really?
wasting my money on this.
That.
It's in cubes already. It's in a little red container. I'm so lazy when it comes to ginger because you gotta peel it and chop it and all that type of stuff. So I was like, oh, if I just put it in my smoothies, it comes pre-chopped. But I'm like, this doesn't really give real ginger. I don't know what that is. So for this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Netflix documentary about Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model. If you've been living under a rock, America's Next Top Model was this modeling competition. Came out in the 2000s. All of the girls were competing, doing like ridiculous challenges in order to be America's Next Top Model. Tyra Banks was the executive producer on it, which we'll come back to later. But there were other judges like Jay, Miss J, Nigel, a whole bunch of people were involved with it. They like cycled out hosts, and there were some models that I think that we're like familiar with now. There were a lot that like I don't think like went on to be like supermodel star status per se, but kind of what the doc was saying, that was when everyone went into COVID, everyone started rewatching America's Next Top Model because all we could really do was watch TV anyway. And as people were rewatching it, a lot of conversations started taking place about how like unethical that show was and what they had the girls doing. So I guess before we like really get into it, did anyone watch America's Next Top Model while you were growing up? And if so, like what were your thoughts on it at the moment?
I didn't watch it growing up, I would say. I would like occasionally see it growing up, but like I didn't religiously watch it. I feel like I was a part of like the COVID group that started rewatching it during COVID when there was nothing else to do. So I started watching it more, but I had to stop because like Bria said, I was like, this is crazy. So I had to stop watching. I chose to stop watching, I'll say. But no, I didn't watch it as a kid. More recently started watching, and I feel like I see a lot of clips still that I'll watch an occasional episode of.
Okay, so growing up, I watched it a lot. I watched it all the time because it was like on TV in real time when I was younger. And I feel like I remember it being, I think when you're a kid, like you don't notice like how bad it is. I think watching the clips now, I'm like, okay, she looks ridiculous. They look ridiculous. But I always did like some of the photo shoots that actually came out nice, and like the actual modeling tips that they gave besides like the drama. But I didn't watch the doc fully. I just kind of been watching like clip line of Tyra and everything she's been doing, and I feel like the doc is like not helping her. I don't know what you thought this doc was going to do for her career, but I feel like if anything, she should have just been quiet. I feel like if anything, it's bringing more light and like more support to the models. Even like Miss J and Mr. J and like Nigel, of course, them being a part of the show, they get backlash, but I think they're all kind of like, Tyra was the head honcho, so whatever she did, she was doing it. We was looking at her crazy, but we still needed our check. So I feel like she should have just shut up. And I feel like she really felt like this was gonna be like, yes, like I'm back in my smize era. Everyone loves me. Like, girl, no, we don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I remember watching the show growing up. I used to really like it, obviously, until it got a little bit ridiculous. And I did watch the documentary, and I don't know where I fell off. So I think the documentary helped me to show, like, okay, that's when I must have stopped watching, because I do not remember that happening.
Yeah, I feel like growing up, I would watch episodes like every once in a while. Like there were certain shows where I was like set every single week for the new episode, but I feel like I would kind of just watch America's Next Top Model when it was on. And I remember being like, oh my God, they're like making this girl cut her hair. Oh my gosh, they're like making her dye her hair. She doesn't want to do that. Like that sucks kind of thing. But like, I think I was young at the time and I didn't really like realize all of the things that were happening, like and how it was so problematic. And then during COVID is when I started rewatching it too. I think it was like on Hulu, like they had like all the seasons and I didn't make it through all the seasons, but rewatching it was like one of those things that was like, oh, she was basically getting away with murder. Like this is kind of crazy. And it was like it would never like slide in today's world at all. Okay, so outside of America's Next Top Model, the documentary came out on Netflix. If you watched it, you kind of already said that you feel like she shouldn't have done it. Amaya Brooklyn, if you watched it, what did you guys think? Like, was there anything that like particularly stood out or was surprising to you?
I did watch it. I just finished watching it, so it's like fresh in my brain. I think what was most surprising to me was that anytime something really bad was discussed, they all would kind of be like, yeah, that was bad, but you have to think about what year it was. Like, that cannot be the answer for every single thing. Like, I get the context of the time was early 2000s, but like, sheesh, it's still like, it seems like a lack of like pure remorse and guilt for like what happened and like accountability. So I think that was very surprising. Like, somebody should have told y'all what to say, and that could not have been it.
Yeah. I kind of felt the same way because she was like a keynote for something. It's like, maybe it was like Essence or there's some type of award show. Maybe it was like the BET Awards and they get like all of these influential women in a room. Tyra Banks was like the keynote speaker of that. And I remember like reading up on her interview from back then. And the gist of what she said was like, I've gotten a lot of backlash over the last couple of years. And, as much as I've done, like, as much as maybe America's Next Top Model doesn't sit right with people now, I did so much for the modeling industry.
Yeah,
like,
I saw this.
She was like, as much of an impact as I maybe made on those girls, I impacted the modeling industry. Somebody had to do it, kind of thing. And like, it was just very like self-righteous, very like, well, I may have hurt people along the way, but like what I did cannot be like discounted. So I almost was expecting her to like come with that same energy, which she did. But part of me was like, did she like watch the final cut? Because she was an executive producer on it, or she was I don't know if she was executive producer or just a producer on the documentary, but she was involved. So like, it was just very confusing to me that like, did you watch it back and we're like, perfect, like this is exactly like what I want.
I think she did.
She said this eats.
Part of me is like, she couldn't have watched the final cut because like there were parts in the doc where she was like, oh, well, that was like production's decision. Like there was nothing I could do because production decided that. And then here goes Netflix in the corner, Tyra Banks, executive producer, and all caps.
So
like,
so
like,
you are production.
No, that had nothing to do with me.
I don't know. I was maybe expecting like a little bit more accountability, but even for the things that were like, yeah, we made them cut their hair. Like, I feel like that's something where it's like, yeah, that was just like the show. Like, the girls signed up to be on it, especially girls in like later seasons. It's like, you kind of, in a way, know what you're signing up for. Like, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be like things maybe that you don't want to do. But there was a part in the documentary where the white girl, her name was Shandy, they're in Italy. They invite a bunch of like Italian men over to the hotel. The Shandy girl has a boyfriend at home. They start drinking. I think they're like in the hot tub, XYZ. They go into the showers. She like blacks out, and one of the men ends up assaulting her like on camera. And I think at the time, I don't particularly remember that, but I do remember them making her call the boyfriend, and the boyfriend being like, I'll never forgive this, XYZ. Like, I do remember that like big fallout, but I think like rewatching it, it was one of those things that was like, oh, like y'all just like captured an assault on camera, and then like you're like making her relive it, and then you're like making her call her boyfriend, and that's just traumatizing. And then Tyra Banks had a talk show back in the day, and they brought all the models, and Shandy was like, I will do this if you do not replay that clip. And so they're all sitting on the stage, and here goes Tyra. Cue up the clip. We're all like, girl. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, there's only so much you can write off. But I think it's an interesting conversation because, like, when America's Next Top Model was running, I guess, how did you see Tyra back then versus obviously now? I think her reputation is kind of tainted.
Like, well, wait, I want to go back. One, that's insane. Why the hell did they? Because I haven't watched the documentary fully. So, and I feel like I kind of remember that episode. Was it like an earlier season when she was assaulted?
I want to say it was like
I remember them
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay, I feel like I like barely remember them like being in Italy and like inviting the boys over, and it was like a big thing because the boys were coming over. She has a boyfriend, but like the fact that she was like blacked out, assaulted, and they still aired it, like it just gives like no morals. Like, how much do you really care to do for TV? And I feel like that's just what they were kind of like leaning towards, and like in the documentary, like, oh, it was good TV back then, blah blah blah. Like, no, that's not good anything. But to answer your question, I think it sucks stuff like back in the day. Like, I feel like I really looked up to Tyra, like, oh, she's teaching me how to like smile. I literally used to like watch America's Top Model and get notes how I could do my school photo. Because like in elementary school, one year my school photo came out horrendous. I'm like, never again. So I would literally practice in the mirror, like how I'm gonna smile, because you only get one chance for them to do it, and that's always really quick. But I feel like how she would just like bring in the different judges, and how they were like all professional models teaching the girls. It just always like kind of seemed more genuine than like what it really was, and like watching it back as an adult. But kind of to your point, Bria, like I feel like you would think that she would be like more apologetic or more like, oh, we shouldn't have done that and this. But I just don't think that's her personality at all. I think she just like she just doesn't. I think she doesn't care because of course she had to go through a lot in the model industry. Like, I feel like we don't even know like what she went through because she didn't like tell her stories. But she gets that type of person where it's like, oh, I have to go through this, so you have to go through it 10 times worse. And like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's what the TV show gives. So it's like, oh, like we did this, so now we're gonna redo it on a TV show, but like, exaggerate it for like good TV. So yeah, I think in real life she just sucks and something is like seriously wrong with her brain. And at her old age, she should have a different mindset, but she's seems to be the exact same.
Even with the whole like what you just said just made me think about that too, because I feel like it comes up a lot in like parenting conversations too. And like obviously none of us, I don't want to say obviously, none of us have kids, for the listeners, just so you know. But like I think it comes up a lot in like parenting conversations that I see on social media where it's like, oh, I struggled, or like I didn't, I didn't have an allowance growing up, or like I didn't have this growing up, so like my kids will struggle too, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like for the parenting side of things, like, okay, to an extent, you like want to teach your kid morals and like how to work hard and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, and I think it applies to Tyra too, it's like you unfortunately had to like go through certain things. But like if this show is what you're saying that the show is about, and as a way to like empower models and like, teach models how to be better, you kind of have to want better for them and to like not put them through the same things, I guess.
Yeah, when I watched it growing up, I used to think like she was like this like amazing like model and like was pushing for more racial and like body diversity in the modeling industry. And I think like that is what was at the forefront of her mind. I just obviously it just went a little bit way too far at times and kind of lost the plot. And so now looking back, it's like, girl, you didn't achieve what you wanted to. And I think for someone who is in the industry and like has like this like unformidable sense of like self, like that would be like an ego death for her to like come out and admit to like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. Like she has to like put on, otherwise like her whole existence will be like called into question. I think that would be like really hard for her.
I feel like for me, growing up as a kid, like I wanted to be a model, like I said in like one of the other episodes we posted. And so to me, like Tyra Banks was like, oh yeah, like she can teach everything I know. Like my school projects in elementary, Rihanna and Tyra Banks, them two, my teachers were sick of hearing because I would write everything about them because I looked up to her because I wanted to be a model. Like she was teaching everybody how to like get to where she was. Da, da, da. But I feel like when I started like rewatching in COVID and everything, and I like saw like everything that like maybe I was just like idolizing as a kid, it made me look at it so differently because it was like, oh, this lady that I thought was like helping people so much like get to where she was, where they wanted to be, whatever, like was doing it in like such a crazy path. Like I remember one of the episodes that I watched like during this like rewatch time was like the one where she made that girl cut all her hair off, and I was like, oh, like, that was never needed. Like that was just something that was never needed. And I think it was just like all of her methods and like all like a lot of like the episodes that I was seeing, it was just like that was not the original plot that I thought it was. Like I thought the plot was the more encouraging, supportive, like mentor, like type of relationship. And like rewatching it, that wasn't what I thought I was watching as a kid. And so I think it like made me look at her very differently. Like I don't keep up with her anymore. I couldn't tell you what she was doing anymore. I didn't fully watch the that show anyways, like the one she put out, because I don't necessarily care to see it. I've seen the clips, like I don't need to see it. And like obviously we were saying like knowing her personality, like she was never gonna apologize. Like she thinks that she's probably correct in every way, shape, and form, and like that's crazy. And so yeah,
it's interesting because it's like I do agree. I think there's like a spectrum of like the atrocities that like happened on that show, because like cool, cutting hair, dyeing hair, not ideal. And then there's like a step further where it's like, we're actually going to put you through some like dental surgery. And then there's like, it's like,
but then did she make someone get a gap or something, or like other way around?
Yes.
So the girl was so upset about that. She really
there was a girl that had a gap, and Tyra made her close it. And then like maybe 2 seasons later, there was a girl that like had a gap, and Tyra was like, let's make it bigger. And so it was one of those things that's like, it was one of those things where it's like, it very quickly went from, I'm trying to teach like the girls, like the modeling industry, like how things work, XYZ, to I'm actually kind of here to be a bully. And like, that's like,
it was no longer about loving yourself.
It was literally like, I know like what your weak spots are. I know like what part of your appearances you like, and like I'm just gonna make you change them because I can. And you don't want to go home and you want to be here. But then there's like another step where it's like girls are getting like groped and like assaulted during photo shoots, things like that. And then, I think that as far as like changing appearances, changing like gaps and all that type of stuff, there's like a level of accountability that can be taken for that. But like at the end of the day, I think people would like brush it off regardless. I don't think people would be so quickly to cancel Tyra if that was like all she had done per se.
Yeah.
Even though they were like egregious, I think it's a little bit more forgivable than like you getting on that documentary and they're asking you, do you remember like the situation with Shandy? And she's like, Shandy, which one was that again? And it's like, girl, she was assaulted on your show. Like, you know exactly what it is because you had her on your talk show a few years later and you played the clip for everybody. So it's like, you know exactly what's going on. And so like you playing dumb, especially when it comes to things that are like that egregious.
Yeah.
That's where it's like, you maybe had like it was like back in the day for the other stuff, but you don't need time to understand that like sexual assault is wrong. Like girls are telling you that like men are feeling them up during photo shoots and you're like, it's just the industry. Like that's crazy to me. So
it's exactly like seeing someone who was a victim, because like clearly she was a victim. Like when she first started, she had a vendetta. Like, I was treated this way. People said this about me, so I'm not going to do that to others. And over time, he said, "Oh, you're the abuser now. You have turned into exactly the type of people and the type of systems that you so claim to hate, and why the show was started in the first place." But I think that is a really common thing that happens in real life, and it's really sad and heartbreaking to see when that happens. It's like, and she can't even like witness it for herself, because they had even asked like, "Oh, like, is there any other moments you want to talk about?" And she was like, I don't know. And they were like, how about Tiffany? When she does the whole, we were all rooting for you.
Oh,
And she's
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, like that was a hard moment.
No, let's talk about that because I almost forgot about that actually. I think that that's like one of the more quotable scenes. And it was really interesting because we were watching the doc and like across Tiffany, across the host, they were like, oh yeah, that was like the parsed down version. Like it got very personal.
Crazy.
Like apparently she was just saying things that were like completely inappropriate, like off the wall, XYZ. Even Tiffany, like, or I think she came out on Instagram recently and was like, girl, now you know what you said was not because you love me or were rooting for me, and you can like sit in this documentary and pretend that that's what it is if you want to, but like everybody was there and everybody kind of knows thing. And so I don't know, it's interesting because I kind of want to transition and ask about the other hosts too, because they had a place in the doc, Mr. J, Miss J, and Nigel. And I almost feel as though the doc wanted us to feel bad for them, which in a lot of ways, I think that Tyra did them very wrong. So for example, Mr. J tried to quit the show and then they were just like, no. And then he ended up staying for like multiple more
it was
seasons.
like 8 more seasons.
Like, this is crazy. Like, did you quit or not? And then ultimately the network was like, you need to let them all go. We're like going in a completely different direction. Tyra had to deliver the news, but they were all just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, we've been here for like all of these years and you're just kind of like throwing us away. And we'll come back to Miss J because I think that her story is a little different, and I genuinely was like very torn up by her story. But like, do you think that the other hosts were just as compliant in this?
In my opinion, like all the judges are like, I'm not going to say equally responsible, but I think they all have a level of responsibility. I think obviously Tyra has the most responsibility like of the judges. And then I would put the other ones in because like ultimately you are at a level of seniority or whatever you want to call it to these girls. And like you can see what's happening. You can see that this probably isn't the best thing. And like, okay, yes, you tried to quit, whatever. Like if it was really against your values, whatever, if you want to quit, you could quit. Like if it was something happening that you did not stand behind, like you would quit. But like ultimately you were trying to be okay with it. Maybe the money was that great. I don't know, however you want to put it. But like there was some reason that you chose to stay and be a part of this, knowing everything was happening. I think there is some level of responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah. I think he mentioned like he was afraid Tyra was gonna blackball him from the modeling industry. But another point is that all of the girls who even won America's Next Top Model were like, we couldn't do shit with these
already
pictures.
blackballed
That's the
anyway.
thing.
Yeah.
These weren't becoming your runway models.
Yeah, it's like I'm in pictures with blood dripping down my face. Like, that's not modeling.
Yeah. I feel like some of the girls literally were like, you know, this is, and I think it also goes to show like Tyler being like, oh, I like gave these girls opportunity, like I did so much for the industry. You literally did not. Like, what do these girls have to show for it? Of course, there are a couple people like Sephora and like Eva, Marcel, and like a lot of other people who actually went on to like having really successful modeling careers in like other industries. But like you said, the girls couldn't use the pictures. People actually like looked down on them. I feel like being on America's Next Top Model after a while blackballed them completely, where people didn't respect them, and people are like, "Y'all are not real models because you're on reality TV," which also was like new word at the time, but it's kind of like, yeah, you were on TV doing things for the camera, and these girls are still in the street doing this for real life. So I feel like that also goes to show like what the girls have to show for the show. I don't know what the judges had like said, but it did kind of give like the narrative of the story was making everyone feel bad for them. And I'm also curious, like with him trying to, with Mr. Dre trying to quit and then like him not quitting. I feel like honestly they had to sign some type of contract. Like maybe after the first two seasons, they probably were like, "Oh, you are locked in for the next 3 seasons, 2 seasons, whatever, and not just one season at a time." Because I feel like that one puts a hold on them. And also, I will say like I'm sure they had their own NDAs to sign, so I'm not like saying like they shouldn't have been held accountable. But I feel like I've kind of seen situations like this in real time and kind of been in some when like you kind of have a higher up like doing something they shouldn't be doing, but like as an employee, as someone like you signed the NDA, you signed the contract, you're basically not they own you, but like you're stuck with them until your contract is done, and
That's
you
true.
kind of have to like go with the punches. But I do feel like as judges, at least like Mr. J and Mrs. J, I feel like they were a little bit nicer to the girls. Like it kind
For
of
sure.
seemed like if something was going on, the girls could go to them. Nigel kind of gave like more strict and more like, you know, whatever like Tyra says. And I remember this one judge, I forget, it was
The
like
British
some white
lady?
lady.
Yes.
Whenever
She
she
was
came
cool.
on, they were like, she is a supermodel, the biggest supermodel of the world. I've never seen this girl a day in my life.
Ever.
And I feel like she was like super mean and super rude. And she wanted to be like Tyra's like kind of like right hand man of like we're gonna bully these girls. But yeah, I need to like finish watching the doc to see like how the other kind of judges reacted. But I feel like I give them a little bit of grace because it's still not their run of show. So it's like also so much you could do. But I'm hoping that they were like abided by contracts, and that's why they didn't leave. Because if not, they just got up and left out the door.
No, for sure. I think that it's also like another layer of they were on the show for so long that they almost thought that they were all friends, which like maybe they did. Maybe Tyra was kind of presenting that they were friends, but the part of the doc that like completely broke my heart was Miss J's story. They essentially had a stroke a few years ago at this point and unable to walk, and they were on the documentary just explaining like I went from teaching girls how to walk on the runway to not be able to like walk by myself, and then Mr. J and Nigel came to visit them, and it was just like a super emotional moment of like you could just tell that like this is really like weighing on his like mental health and you know trying to re-find his identity of not being able to like do that anymore or teach people how to do that anymore. And then they asked, they were like, has Tyra like visited? They were like, oh, you know, she sent me a text, but haven't seen her. So it's one of those things that's like you almost expect like after all that time for there to be some like level of friendship or like more than just like a professional relationship, especially when she's in the documentary like, oh no, it was like never my decision, like I, you know, love all of them and I think that they maybe got the situation wrong. It was there's no sacred cow, she kept saying, like, girl, shut up. She's like, there's no sacred cows, they get rid of everyone, like whatever the head exec says, that's what goes. And it's like she was just basically trying to say that,
That's
like,
you.
She was basically just trying to say that, like, the head exec made all the decisions, and they were like, "Well, get rid of you too, Tyra, if you don't do this." And it's like, girl, I feel like you've fabricated all of this in your head, and you're just trying to deflect any way that you can. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was for the models. I feel like there was a lot of discourse online where it's like, season 1, season 2 aired, and they had the girls going through all these crazy things. But then I think that there's like some level of, this is social media, some level of responsibility that social media was putting on the contestants too, on some like, well, what you're getting into now. It's been on TV for like multiple seasons. And so like the more time that goes on, the more that you're like very aware of what's happening. I'm interested to know how you guys feel about that. And also like in context of your own careers and like what it is that you want to be doing 20, 25 years from now. Would it be easy to like kind of find yourself in a situation like this? Or do you think that like you're a little bit like more aware of what the situation might be? I feel like if someone's dangling your dream in front of your face, you might be like a little bit more willing to do what you have to do for it.
Quick question. Were all these girls over 18?
I assume so. That is
I think
a good
so.
question.
I think that was the youngest. I think those were like the youngest age. 18.
I would hope so.
That's still young. So.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, well, kind of going for what Brooklyn just asked. It just gives like, if someone was dangling in my face at 18, like maybe I'm more willing. You didn't even go to college yet. You're fresh out of high school, like, so you're so vulnerable. You're so just like, especially if it's like you don't have like the funds to like go to modeling school or like take modeling classes. Or you don't really like want to take like the college route. It's like, oh, I can go on this TV show that like guarantees I'm gonna have a modeling career, like bet. It's kind of also at that time, I feel like there's so many shows that gave that same premise, like American Idol? Like American Idol at that time was like huge. So it's like, oh, I can go on TV and just like be myself, like use my talents. Like I'm sure gonna win. But of course they get on the show and they're like, oh, this is like not at all what I signed up to do. But yeah, like, but I think honestly, like after like 21, I'm just like, no, I have my brain is starting to develop. I'm not fully there, but this is dumb.
Yeah.
But I also think they probably were just lied to a lot in the beginning. So it's just like, especially for the first couple of seasons, like those poor girls in the first season, they're just like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. You can be the pilot season of like a great new show. And it's like, oh, it's trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so hard in those situations because it's like when you're given the opportunity to achieve everything you've always wanted to achieve and like be rich and famous, it's like how far would you really willing to go in that moment? And it's like, since that opportunity right now isn't in front of my face, I'm like, oh, like I have morals. Like there's a line, like there's a clear, I'm an adult. But then if I'm like actually in that situation, I think it's so hard to be like, no, like I wouldn't do that, or I would say no, or I would leave the show because it's like right there. And then you've got so many people in your ear and like no connections to the real world to like have you like be grounded. And I think given as it translates to like everyday life, like for people who want to be like in really like high paying, high achieving careers. But it's like, oh, but you'll have to work a lot of hours. And it's like, oh, that's okay. Like I'll make the money. Oh, like you might have managers that are like pass on microaggressions to you because you might be the only Black person in the room. It's like, oh, but that's okay. Like I want to have this job and I want to like have a good career and make money. And it's like, how can you say like, just because that like stops you from doing something that it's like wrong to like be in those like situations, or like just because you might know there's like a risk of having those situations happen, like do you not do it because you don't want that career anymore? So it's like it's definitely a hard line, and it's like how far are you willing to go?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Maybe controversial, but like I'm a big believer that like we do know right from wrong, and I think that even in like this situation, like them being young, then like especially framing it as something that's like their one opportunity to meet fame, I think that was taken advantage of, and like you can get like stuck in a situation like that. I think that obviously like you can be in a situation where it's like, okay, you're dangling this like one thing that like I've wanted for all these years, or like that I think is like where I could be, influential, successful, famous, like da da da. I agree that that line of like what you can accept can be pushed. Like even I would say even for me, like if I was 18 on this show, I would probably still be on, like I would thug it through, like because this is my opportunity. So like I definitely think that you might know that it's not good, like what's happening in like X, Y, and Z, but like I think that them being younger, like this opportunity in front of them, they were taken advantage of with like how they were framing this show and everything. But I think that like when people do frame it like that, it is very easy to like fall into of, oh, this is how I have to get there. This is how it was done. This is what they're saying is like the only way to get up there, X, Y, and Z. Even in the corporate world, like I think you can fall into that very easily.
And that makes me think of people taking advantage. The guy, Ken, was also a producer, a TV showrunner
we didn't
for
even talk about
Diddy's
him.
Making the Band. And I was like, this explains a lot. I was like, you take these people who come from nothing, who don't have nothing, and you say, well, if you're on this show, you can have all of these things. That's like, it's abusive. That's what abusers do. They find weak people into people who like may not have any other option, and they use them for the purpose of ratings. It's sad.
No, that's actually exactly what I was about to say, because you think, one, I think it's like before you turn 25 that like frontal lobe isn't developed, and it's just like a lot easier for you to be manipulated into certain decisions. You don't have like that full critical thinking that like we might have now that we're like a little bit older, but it's just a little bit harder to see situations all the way through and like run out all like the different scenarios and like what could happen here. And very similarly, just to what Amaya was saying, I think it's how, like, if you look at like Diddy and Cassie, for example, they met when Cassie was 19 years old, and Diddy's dangling, hey, I have all of these albums, I have this like path to fame, if you're going to be a big superstar, you just have to like stay, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to like be on my arm, okay, now we're gonna go to these parties, now I'm gonna like pimp you out, and it's coming, like your career's right here, kind of thing. And when you're like 19, 20, 21, I think that like, one, even thinking about like her situation, it's like, okay, well, now I've been on this path for like 2 years, I can't walk away now, I don't have anything else, kind of thing. And I think that like it is like an interesting dynamic of like the showrunners and producers were absolutely picking younger girls because they were much more likely to be like, oh yeah, I have to do this, this is what, you know, modeling is, I'm young, I don't have any credit, I don't have like any, you know, modeling credits to be able to like point to and speak to, so this is like what I have to do per se. But I think the winner in all of this is that white girl who had that mini skirt on, and they were talking to her, and she said, I'm gonna go.
Iconic. I'm not really doing this.
An icon. He literally was like, well, I'm gonna go. And they're like, are you just gonna walk? And she did not even turn around to say
I was literally
walking her
had
feet
the
out the door.
foresight.
She said, as a matter of fact, I don't need to be here.
I don't want to be here right now.
I literally was gonna add on the piece of being able to stand up for yourself, like that young, or like when you have all of these A-list individuals, like A-list models that are in the industry standing right in front of you with your dream, like you quitting, like is ultimately like a blacklist, like ultimately like you're throwing away your dream, and like that's very easy. Like it's very easy to take advantage of that. That girl though, stood her ground, but
an icon.
I can understand the other girls like that being very hard to, because this is literally the top of the industry standing right in front of you with your dream, and you either have to thug it through or walk away with it like that girl did, and she did.
I would actually love to hear from her. I would love to like hear like what exactly was going through your head. Like I would love to talk to her.
I feel like there's gonna be like another documentary from like the other end of like the actual models and people like really speaking up. But I hope that whoever like puts it together like picks the right people that we basically didn't hear from. Even Marcel did some interview the other day, and she was like, I don't even know what she said fully, but she basically was just like, yeah, they didn't call me, I didn't know anything about it. And I'm just like, girl, we want to hear from, there's people we want to hear from, even from like Tiffany. I feel like I want to hear what Tyra said exactly. But I'm also like curious if they like how long the NDAs they had to sign on the show lasted. So I'm like, of course they're speaking out now, but it still just gave very like lukewarm. So I'm like, okay, when is the 10, 15 years up? Because we need to hear from I want to hear the realness.
Yes. That was there actually is another one coming out. So it's a show I was looking at to be sure I could get the right name of it, but it's a series called like Dirty Rotten Scandals, and it's gonna go over like the behind the scenes of multiple different reality TV shows. So it's Dr. Phil, which like we need to figure what happened there. America's Next Top Model, and this one was a little bit surprising. The Price is Right. Apparently there was some stuff going on.
What the hell was scandals over there on the Price is Right?
Whoa. That's crazy.
Apparently there was some scandals going on over there.
I'm tuned in.
So I'm not sure exactly like when it's coming out, but I did hear that like a lot of the models that were not included in this documentary are going to be in that one, so I'm sure we'll get like more of the real. But yeah, I definitely that's like number one on my list. I want to hear what exactly was said. And I almost wish that girl came on Instagram and was like, "Oh, Tyra, you know that's not what you said."
Yeah.
What, like you said, Faith, I feel like it has to be an NDA thing because, like, I would have put it in an
Like, what
Instagram
she
post,
say?
right? Yeah, I would have put it in the Instagram post, like, this is what was said, and you know it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was so bad. Even Mr. J was like, I won't repeat what she said because it was that bad.
Yeah, like, what in the world? But as far as what Tyra's up to now, she's living in Australia. She's selling hot ice cream.
I am so sick of hearing about that shit.
She is selling hot ice cream, which just feels like warm milk with like toppings in it. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's hot chocolate? Like, I don't understand. Like,
yeah, like, girl, what? And then the biggest revelation of the whole documentary, after the girl spent 3 hours talking about how the show is just like so deeply traumatic and how they'll like never heal from this shit, Tyra Banks goes, and we have so much in store for season 25.
It was just so out of place. I was like, huh?
Like, you cannot be serious. Like, and I think everyone was just kind of like, yeah, sister, you will be on season 25 by yourself. But I think the last question I want to end on is, if America's Next Top Model were to come back and Tyra Banks read the room and realized that nobody wants to see her in charge of it, who do you think should host the next season?
Immediately who I thought of may be crazy, probably is crazy. So when I told you, when I was young and I wanted to be a model, I either wanted to be on America's Next Top Model or at Cynthia's modeling school. One or the other. One or the other, I wanted to be there. So I'm going to put Cynthia in charge.
Cynthia Bailey from America's Next Top Model?
Yeah, Cynthia Bailey from...
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I like her.
Yeah,
Or, not Real Housewives. What is that called?
Yeah, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
Good one. I feel like it shouldn't just be one host. I feel like every episode, I feel like they kind of did it, but not really. But I feel like they should bring in different people just to like show a different range. Because at first I was like, oh, like I feel like Kimora could be good because she's just like another OG. But also it's like, well, we probably want to hear from like the younger girls. But then when I think of like young models, I personally don't know too many, but I kind of think of just like the industry girlies who know how to like serve face, like a Zendaya or like even like Rihanna or Beyonce. I don't know, but like I feel like it would be cool to just hear from like the people who are just doing well in like today's era. They might not be like the OGs or like went to modeling school or like went to Paris at 16, but I feel like also since times have changed and a lot of models come or like influencers come from social media, we would have to like pivot. You have to pivot the show and the production in that way too. So I feel like we wouldn't want to just hear from like one person.
Yeah. I think maybe getting some like instructional teachers, because I feel like it can go if you've got someone who has a little bit more face in it. Someone will be a little bit more behind the scenes, I think would be good to keep it more objective.
That's a good point too. I was gonna say Winnie Harlow because I just think she's an icon, and I think that like,
I didn't know she was on this show.
Actually, didn't either, which I think speaks a lot to. Did she win? Was she a winner, or was she just on the show?
I don't think she won, but I think just her.
Vitiligo,
yeah. I just think it was like a big deal, and it was like the first person on the show. It's like and like
she got
like
eliminated.
In the limelight, period.
Yeah, so I feel like when we're talking about like hosts who like know what it's like to be different, I don't know, it's kind of like maybe the same cycle that Tyra was in. Not, I assume Winnie Harlow's a better person, but like knowing what it's like to be different and like being able to like celebrate those differences, I think might be a good tone for the show. And then also to your point about like bringing in some of the new girls that are like serving face, I would love to see Alantria on. I think this would be a good little gig for her, because I'm like, she has no modeling training whatsoever, but you would never know it. Like the way she's doing these like brands and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm like, I think she would be a good like new girl to loop in. Okay, well, if you haven't watched the documentary, it is on Netflix. It's, what was it called again? It's called Reality Check something inside of America's Next Top Model Child. If you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. Just type in Top Model, you'll get it. But I do think it's an interesting watch. I think it didn't like tell us anything that we didn't know per se, like, or maybe like weren't expecting per se, but it is kind of good to like hear all the victim stories and how like this, it's a good reminder that reality TV, there are people behind these things. I think that a lot of people forget about that, especially with things like Love Island. And maybe that's like another episode actually about like parasocial relationships with Love Island, or like with reality TV, and how people think that they actually know people on the internet. But it's a good reminder that like reality TV is entertainment for us, but there are people behind these things that should and need to be considered. So
yeah. Oh wait, okay, I have one more story I just thought of. I think overall, the more I think of it, I'm like, yeah, Tyra is just a bully in her production. Because Amaya, you said one of the producers was a producer on what was it, Making the Band? Okay, I didn't know
Yep.
that, but that makes sense because I literally compared America's Next Top Model the other day to Making the Band because I'm like, remember Making the Band when the dude was like, go get me some cheesecake, and they're in the Bronx, and he's like, go walk to Brooklyn to get me some cheesecake. That's literally what America's Next Top Model gave. It's like, you have to go on I forget what the challenges were, where they have to like go to Ghosties, I think. And it was like, you have to go to Ghosties, but we're not going to give you no taxi. You have to walk in 6-inch heels, 100 degrees outside, and good luck. And by the time they get there, they're sweaty and gross and can't even remember what the fuck they're there for.
exactly.
But I think one last thing I saw from the clips of the documentary that I don't remember this episode, so I don't know if it was like later on. The girls, so it's like the I guess the first episode when they actually picked the line of girls they want to go for the season, and they basically gave the girls who won, like that they didn't make it, cards, and gave the girls who didn't win cards that said they made it. So they split the girls. So all these girls are like, "Oh, I made it! I made it!" And all these girls are like, "I didn't make it." They split the girls up and took them to like their respective rooms. And the girls who were told they didn't make it but actually made it, they saw their luggage. Tyra came out to like give a speech, and she was like, "You know, you have to work hard, and people are gonna tell you no all the time, but not today because you guys are going to the next round." And everyone's like, "Ah." But I don't know if they probably should. I need to see the clip of like them showing the girls who they told made it and being like, "Okay, girls, never mind. So this was all a prank. You guys didn't make it, and you're going home." Like that is not a list.
That was like that clip where she pretends to pass out and everyone's like,
"Oh my god!"
I thought she actually passed out.
Just kidding. Like, girl, are you okay?
It's like she wanted to give people heart attacks. Like those poor girls.
Like,
we didn't even talk about the race switching episode.
Oh my god!
And then they were like, they did it again. They didn't just do it once.
They did it twice.
They did it multiple times.
They had these girls doing whatever. Blackface, pretend to be homeless. The one girl that they had, the one girl that they had, like, pretend to be a victim of gun violence, knowing that her mother was like killed in a shooting. I'm like, see, this is just like,
it was too far.
It's too much. Like,
actually, I want to hear from who was coming up with these damn photo shoot ideas.
That's what?
Right.
You could just have a regular photo shoot. Just wear blue. Like, I don't understand.
Like,
what this was teaching them, other than torture.
Yeah, no, this was a mess. But reality check inside America's Next Top Model. It's on Netflix. If you watched it, let us know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'm sure there's things we missed because it was 3 hours long and there's no way to like get everything, but there's a lot going on, so let us know what you think in the comments. And with that, we'll transition into our next segment, Put Me On and Put That Down, where we are putting you on to the things that we are really enjoying and putting down what no longer serves us. Who wants to start?
So this week for Putting Me On, this was the first time that I got my hair done that I was very, very, very specific about what I wanted. And it turned out so well because I was very verbal. Like usually I'll be sitting get my hair done, I'll notice something, I'll be like, oh no, it's okay. Like I'll just ask about it after she's done 15 more braids and I can't turn back now. But from the beginning and the onset, I was like, this is exactly what I want. I showed her pictures. She said, I don't know how to do that. I said, I'm gonna show you a TikTok video because it is possible to do this. And she did it. And so we really worked together on that.
That was very risky of you, actually.
It really was. I had to trust
tutorial ready.
Yes, I said, I'm gonna show you how how the girls online are doing it, because I feel like you can do it. And then after, she's like, "Oh wow, like I've never done a style like this." I said, "Well, now you have pictures to show that you can. Like this is really great for both of us." It really worked out well. I'm happy to contribute to her skill set.
That is so
And
funny.
Right.
so yeah, that really worked out. So being verbal and being clear. And if something is looking a little left, say something so you can make it go right. Because usually I would just sit there and just go home and cry. So that is my put me on, being verbal and clear during any hair or nail appointments. And putting down overextending yourself. I feel like because it's like been a couple months into the year, people got a lot of goals that they wanted to reach. But I feel like since it's still not, well, at least in New York, the weather isn't great outside. So it's still like seasonal depression season. So people are getting down on themselves, but just know it's okay to rest. So putting down overextending yourself, I think it's a good time to just chill this week.
So for my put me on, I love me some ClassPass. Now I feel like they're not like perfect, but I really honestly love finessing them. But overall, I try not to say my finesses, but I just love using them because I was going, well, always like every couple of months. So I don't feel like paying for this right now. So I'm like, I just signed up with a new email that I have. But I couldn't, I was trying to sign up last week with this email and it wasn't working. Then today I was like, I just need to like go to my old account and just like see how much it'll cost. But I just do have like a couple of credits. And of course, I log in and they're like, welcome back. You can come back for $5 for 14 days. I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted you to say. So,
They're so desperate. I love it.
Wait, can I tell a really quick story about ClassPass?
Yes,
And I'm
please.
a ClassPass user. I like ClassPass. Like, this is no knock to ClassPass, but this situation blew me so bad. So when I lived in New York, I remember I was going from Harlem to like Chelsea to take a Rumble. It was like a Rumble strength class. So it was like half treadmill, half strength, right? In New York, you don't really you can't really bet on the trains. Like you can leave early enough where it's like, okay, I've become to get here at this time, but I can leave a little extra time. And this day I left more than enough time. More than enough time. I get one stop away from 125th and someone, God rest their soul, jumps in front of the train. And so the train stops and we were sitting there for like 25-30 minutes. So I'm messaging ClassPass. I'm like, hey girls, like there's someone, they jumped from the train, like I can't make it to my class. They said, oh, we're so sorry, we're gonna have to charge you that $32 still. I said,
that's insane.
This is
not $32.
Yes, it was $32 because I missed the class. And I'm like,
wait, hold on. They charge you $32 miss a class.
They
charge you
not
like
only do they not return the credits, they also charge you real American dollars for missing the class.
that was in New York. So
that was in New York.
They must have different cancellation fees for each.
Yeah, they probably. I think it's different
cities.
Per studio actually.
It's regional.
So it's like
okay, that can make sense.
Like $30 is regional.
Yeah,
is insane.
Yeah, and it was like
That's
Rumble,
true.
so it was probably like more of a famous fitness studio or whatever. But like I do like an open gym out here, which is what I use it for. It's like I don't pay for like a gym membership. I'll just like use their gym every once in a while. And if I like were to not show up for that, they're like, here's just $9, and it's like, okay, that's reasonable.
Okay, got it.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I'm
I
like,
think
bro.
the studio kind of sets it. All that to say, love ClassPass, but that customer service rep who wouldn't give me my $32 back.
Yeah.
That was messed up.
That's so rude. And I just feel like, especially being in New York, especially just a circumstance period, like if you don't have like any other issues, like if you haven't had any other issues with them or like missed a class and then pay or something, let's just be like, okay, sure.
Like, okay.
Maybe we'll keep your credits. You just don't have to pay your fee. Like, who cares?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, other than that, I hate that. And I feel like they are kind of picky. Like I remember one time it said I missed a class, but I didn't miss a class. And you're trying to charge me. Luckily, I take pictures in all my classes at the end. So I was like, I have a picture to show it. And the person, you could tell they want to be like, no, but they were like, send me the picture. I'm like, here you go. And they're like, fine, you can have your credits back and we won't charge you. I'm like, yeah, because the lady didn't check me in, that's her fault.
Right.
But yes, if you don't feel like paying, like like Bria said, like paying for like a full gym membership, or I kind of like it because I can just try different classes around the city. Plus, when you travel, you can try classes in different states. So I just feel like that's a fun time. So until I can afford my lifetime membership, I will be nesting class pass as long as I think overall I'm putting down like waiting on people to do the things you want to do. And I feel like a lot of times you try to want to like plan things around other people, whether it's like an activity or like even something career wise. Like if you share an idea with someone, they kind of have like the same mindset, like, oh, I want to do that too. And then you never do it because you're waiting on like this person. Or for me, I feel like this is very specific. But like for me, I didn't go to like concerts for like a long time because like I work in the industry. But like still, depending on who the artist is, it's kind of hard to get tickets unless you're like working the damn show, or unless it's like a show that people are like aren't pressed about. But if it's like a fucking Beyonce and it's like I'm asking for a ticket, that's damn near impossible because even her team members have to fight to get damn tickets. So I feel like, and then of course like I think another thing is like waiting for people that like promise you things. So it's like people are like, oh yeah, I got you. Just let me know, or I got you. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'll see if you got me the week of. I'm gonna go ahead and get my things in order so I don't have to wait on anybody. And I feel like that's how you need to live your life. Not waiting on.
Yeah. So my put me on is I've been loving calm going out vibes, like jazz clubs, like a quick little drink at the bar with some friends, like very low key, like very low key things I've been really enjoying. Like even coming up is my birthday, but coming up is my birthday, and even on my birthday, I'm doing so calm, just going to go get a burger and go get a drink at a little cutesy bar. Very calm. So, on my
And then what
actual
do
birthday,
you do
my
the days after?
Fix your face. Fix your face.
Part 2 is what?
Fix your face. That's coming up next. That's in my put me down. Put that down. That's in my put that down. So, my actual birthday, I'm pushing calm vibes, going out cutesy things, right? I put that down. Also goes into my birthday. So this is my first birthday in New York. And this is new. The idea of hosting, number one, the snow. I moved from Texas. My birthday was always very warm. And the appointment stuff. These things in New York for the first time, put it all down. Put it all down. What am I talking about? I'm hosting, which everyone, if you know me, you know I hate hosting. I don't like people in my space, not my thing. But there's nowhere else to do it. That's not charging an arm and a leg. And you had to like book 3 months prior. Like if you know me, I'm a last minute girl. Not my thing to do things ahead of time. I'm a week and a half out, I'll think about it. So the only option was to do it at my house. And now we have all these people coming. We're gonna make it a good time, but now people are at my house. We're still trying to find a place to do after. That's a whole nother story. But anyways, the biggest put that down, I was going to say, was stylists and their policies. So I'm finding like new stylists to do my appointments for my birthday, get my hair done, my nails done, So I'm trying to get my hair done, trying to get a sew-in, whatever. This girl that I was trying to go to seems like she does great work, but like she has those crazy policies like, oh, if you get me out of my hours, like you got to pay $100 extra to get me on like a non-peak time, like whatever. Her schedule was literally, she was only doing hair Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And any other time you had to pay $100 extra to get on her books. And I'm like, the party is on Friday. Not many options. What are we talking about? So it's just like, having to start over, especially with a birthday, I'm not a fan. Put it all down. I want my old girls back, but here we are. But yeah, I'm having a birthday party. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It'll be fun. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
For mine this week, I'm putting you on to, and this probably isn't like new, but I'm putting you on to Costco because we grew up like my parents had a Costco membership, and it always just felt like something that would be like $1,000. Like, how could I ever afford Costco? It was $60 to get a Costco card, and granted, I don't think it for the year.
Okay, yeah.
And you get like gas savings, and you can buy like stuff like, for example, like toilet paper, and I think like living alone, it doesn't make sense to buy everything in bulk because it's like, okay, you don't need a 64 pack of chips, but like it's one of those things where it's like It's like toilet paper. It's like toilet paper, paper towels. It's like you're always gonna need those kind of thing. So if you live near Costco and you don't live in like New York, because there's barely space for y'all to like take a deep breath, so don't go get like a 64 pack of toilet paper from Costco. But like if you live near Costco, I think a lot of people don't know, or maybe I just didn't know, that it's $60 for the year. And I'm like, wow, for like gas savings and savings on like the per unit of all like these different things. I'm like, I feel like that's worth it, especially in LA where gas is like $7 a gallon and you go to Costco and it's like $4 instead. Like that honestly makes it worth it.
Gas is $7 a gallon?
I drove past the gas station yesterday that was $7.31 per gallon.
Oh my gosh.
And that's just regular, right? That's not like
that is regular gas. No. And on top of that, it was the cash payment. Right.
Oh
my gosh.
They do that.
So if you paid in credit card, it was probably a few cents more. So
oh my gosh.
At this point, filling up at Costco is like a non-negotiable for me. And there's this like one gas station in Hollywood that's like 15 minutes away from me that I'll go to that's like sneakily very cheap. So I go there too. But I'm like, it's getting ridiculous. I'm also putting you on, I saw this thread the other day where this girl was like, this DJ was playing R. Kelly and I booed them. And I'm like, I love that. I think we should boo. And then like the whole crowd just started booing them. And I think that we should boo DJs more. I think that we should boo DJs more, especially like if they're like sparingly, because some DJs are learning, you know, the transitions aren't always going to be perfect, XYZ. But if a DJ's like not reading the room, or like, you know, it's a room full of Black people and they're playing like white pop music, it's like one of those things where it's like, I think that we should feel empowered to collectively boo more often, because it's like, no, you need to know that like, you need to do better. And then something I'm putting down, I think that we're reaching like the point of the year where it's like, okay, New Year's has passed, kind of like to Amaya's point, like everyone has like a lot of goals and resolutions that they set and like wanted to accomplish for the year. And I think now is the point in time where like we see people are starting to fall off of that XYZ. I'm putting down like the notion that like falling off means that like, oh, I'll try again next year. Like, there are still so many months in a year. Like you literally can pick it up whenever. It's like you don't have to start a resolution at the beginning of the month or like the beginning of a new year. Like you literally can just pick back up wherever you want to. And it doesn't mean that like, all right, well, I guess I just have to start in 10 more months when 2027 comes around. Like, it's okay to like fall off with stuff. Like there's some stuff that like I said I wanted to do this year that like, well, haven't picked up a book in a couple of weeks kind of thing. And it's like, it's one of those things that I'm kind of have to just being like, all right, that doesn't mean that, you know, achieving that goal is like completely off the table now. It's just start it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So that's like something I've been kind of reminding myself of, because I feel like it's easy to kind of like beat yourself up of like, oh, I haven't been going to the gym that often. I haven't been reading. I started texting that nigga I said I wasn't going to text. You can just stop, you know, like you don't have to do that anymore.
You have to pick a date.
So, yeah, exactly.
Like when people are like, when you start on Monday, I'm like, how about I just start today? Like, let's just get started.
And also, I feel like I've seen an influx of stories on threads. I'm putting down one more thing. I've seen an influx of stories on threads where the girls are like, oh, Valentine's Day just passed. And so I've been, you know, texting that man that like, you know, just had me in my feelings, or no.
What?
No. Like, no. The girls were feeling very lonely for Valentine's Day and finding themselves texting news that they had no business texting. And it's like, all right, you can feel that way for a moment, but Valentine's Day was last week now, so we're gonna go back to where we were. So like,
I'm gonna use that as an excuse.
I don't see why Valentine's Day makes people want to text shitty people. Like
exactly. You see people being loved in very nice ways, and like you're going to reach out to a man that doesn't love you in a nice way.
Never got you a Valentine's when y'all were dating during Valentine's. Like, I feel like you might as well just hit on a random day, right?
So yes, it's also not too late to put that nigga down that you said you were gonna put down at the beginning of the year that you said you left in 2025.
Have time.
So, Well, with that, that is the end of our episode. If you like the episode, if you're tapped into the Hey Sister podcast, make sure you leave us 5 stars wherever you listen, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, all the things, y'all. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can leave us any listener questions at theheysisterpod@gmail.com. And then you can follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok as well at the Hey Sister Pod as well. And with that, we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, sisters.
Bye, sisters.
Bye, sisters.
Bye.